Well, joining us now to react to today's primary, former Republican House Majority Leader Rocky Ruchkowski, former Democratic State Representative Sherry Gay Dagnago, and Oakland University political science professor Dave Dulio. And let's just talk really quickly, though. The big talk of the night, the uncommitted vote, the protest that we saw today, a number quite high, maybe higher than some had predicted that was going to be. What does this mean going into the actual presidential race? Is it going to help a third-party candidate? Is it going to help Donald Trump, who hasn't even really talked about his position on this war?
If you're asking me, I don't think it's going to. It really means a lot right now. We're about, what, 7-8 months away from a general election, and there's enough time between that general election and this presidential primary in Michigan for those uncommitted to come back home. If they were Biden supporters 4 years ago, they most likely will come back.
Wait a minute. They're going to come back after this president has waged a war that cost $14 billion. Their complaint is the fact that you actually have a war in which people are dying, and the U.S. is funding some of this. Sherry, these uncommitted voters, they don't seem like they're ever going to come home, do you?
I mean, I don't think that we can paint them all with the same brush. I think a number, there's a spectrum of people who are very angry about the war, and perhaps they won't come back. But then you have others that I know that are actual elected officials that represent our community.
That's right.
And they want to send a message that they don't appreciate the president's stand, but I don't see them completely going.
So it's a protest.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it's something that should be taken very seriously. Certainly representing their community, their loved ones. They're very passionate about this, as they should be. So I think ultimately they're looking for the president to really take a stand and really call for a ceasefire. That's what they're asking for.
Well, I would agree with that we can't paint all these voters with the broad brush, right? And I think we need to be careful not to jump to any conclusions or go all in with one extreme or the other, like with most things, right? But there are some of those voters, I imagine, who aren't going to vote for President Biden in November. And in a state like Michigan, where the election is going to be close, it is going to be razor thin. President Biden losing support from a handful of voters here and a handful of voters there, maybe they go third party, right? But that could make a difference.
You have a large group. I mean, you have, of course, the younger people, some of the students that we've seen come out and protesting. You have the largest Arab American community in our state, and of course, Michigan paves the way to the White House. You have that situation, but then also Trump. We saw Nikki Haley come out.
I was just going to make that same comment. For the amount of protest votes that Biden has, there are some Republicans that are not extremely ecstatic with having President Trump again. We see a majority of the country, and now I'm supporting President Trump, but I will say this much, that we're seeing a majority of Americans right now that don't want a rematch between Biden or Trump. And Nikki Haley made one valid comment. She said the first party that sheds their octogenarian is the party that will win.
Well, let's talk about that moving forward here. Are these the two guys we're going to end up seeing run in a few months? There's many people who say come August, we're going to see a brokered convention with the Democrats.
Yes.
And at the end, we're going to end up with somebody new. Dave Dulio, we haven't seen that.
We haven't in my lifetime, right? And I've been around a while.
Well, that's right, 68. That's right. We were talking about
It's never say never in politics, right? I mean, I think, but as we sit here today, there's no indication that either Joe Biden or Donald Trump is going to either leave willingly or be ushered out of that nomination.
And Nikki Haley is, I mean, we've heard her, she was pretty adamant. She's going to stay in this race. Is that a good idea for her to be able to continue into Super Tuesday? And
from my perspective, again, I think it's a bad. I think the writing's on the wall now. She's not going to win, and staying in this race will only harm her chances 4 years from now.
But is the reason she's staying in the race in case something happens to Donald Trump, where if he's indicted, they need a candidate? Isn't that something that's important?
But that's why most of these candidates, like Ron DeSantis, suspended his campaign. He didn't close his campaign. He suspended his campaign. So if something like that happens, we have a brokered convention. Exactly. And in 1968, none of us were alive in 1968 when the Democrats had their brokered convention.
None of us was alive.
But Sherry,
None of us were born yet.
But do you
when that happened.
think there's a better candidate sitting out there right now in the Democratic Party? As a Democrat yourself, as a former state rep, as a school board member, I mean, you look at the situation, do you see, hey, you know what, maybe the governor of California would be a better candidate? Do you think that?
Well, I mean, I think we are where we are right now, and to start throwing out candidates after the presidential primary really is being very divisive from my perspective in our party. I voted for Biden today, and I'm happy. I'm happy to say that.
You're surprised, right?
Yeah, I would have been uncommitted, but that's okay.
I mean, I'm happy to say that. I mean, at one point, I felt like I was going to be uncommitted, but he has a lot of work to do. Well, he does. He has a lot of work to do, and he has to stand up. And young people are not going to just come on board if he doesn't send a strong message.
And there's a lot of voter apathy. When there's both candidates, people are sick of. They would like to see maybe perhaps somebody else step up. Of course, you have a lot of black Americans right now who say, hey, we fought to get this vote, and now you're just acting like it doesn't even matter and taking it for granted.
That's true. I mean, and those conversations have to be taken seriously. And I don't think enough has been done. I don't think enough has been done locally with our party. I mean, it's like I have 4 mailers that I got in the mail. I mean, I sent out Facebook posts. I sent out e-blasts encouraging people to vote. Some of them are like, really? You know?
Well, I didn't get any mailers.
Go ahead, Dave.
The gentleman in the piece before talked about when folks come here and ask for our vote. I think that's a really important thing to remember, right, is that oftentimes, and we hear this thrown around sometimes, especially in the African-American community, but candidates can presume that they have somebody's vote. I think every election cycle, voters and citizens need to be respected. And have people come to them and sincerely ask for their vote.
And there's more at play. You have inflation, women's rights. I mean, there's a lot of things. The border issues as well.
Both candidates visiting the border, of course, this week.
I just don't think Biden's going to make it. I don't think the party will nominate him when his numbers stay in the basement.
And Dave, I can't ask you to be a psychic and predict the future, but I can ask you whether or not 4 months ago the comment you made on Let It Rip still holds true today, which is you don't know whether or not one of these two guys is still going to be standing.
Yeah, we still don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think
you still believe that.
I do, right? I think never say never. We've seen crazier things happen in American politics.
Well, do you think we could see a surprise? Really? I mean, really, this sees like a very unprecedented situation.
Well, it is, right. I mean, this is the first time I think we've had a presidential candidate with 91 felony counts that he's facing. And,
perpetrated.
So we don't know what could actually happen. I mean, you have a Democratic president who's up in age and, is dealing with some challenges, I would say.
We
don't know.
Very well
the Colonel mentioned this earlier, right, that a vast majority of Americans, 65%, don't want to see this rematch, Trump and Biden, right? You can't get 65% of Americans to agree that the sky is blue, yet they don't want this, and that's what they're going to get.
Dave DiLio, Sherry, good to see you. Thank you, Rocky, all for joining us here tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.